Hey all, boardgamerants here where you'll find everything solo tabletop gaming and more. Quick warning, there's some minor spoilers here as I show you what I think about and how it plays. The cooperative module included with Rise of Fenris for Scythe. So I even within that, I'm going to show you in a way that reduces the number of spoilers. There's just really one that you gotta know in order to play the module. Here we go, let's check it out. Just warning you, don't say I didn't warn you. So there you have it, there's your spoiler Desolation tile. You're gonna need this tile in order to play Desolation, a cooperative module from Rise of Fenris here in Scythe. So I'm gonna show you as little spoilers as possible. Desolation is represented by, in this case, yellow. It can be any color. And in the normal rules, this would be replaced by a unit that would be a spoiler. So I'm just gonna use this airship in its place. For all intents and purposes, you could have 6 yellow rocks. You could have 6 rocks out here. They're all basically going to act as combat units roaming around trying to mess with us. So the other thing is that we've got a timer track here to worry about. So Desolation runs on a timer, and we have essentially 18 rounds to do something. 2 things: either wipe Desolation off the map via combat, or complete a certain number of goals based on how many players we're playing. So in this case, if we're playing 2 players, which got red and black going on here, you could play with 1, you could play all the way up to 7, but with 1 player, you need to complete 5 random goals. With 2 players, you need to complete 8 random goals. With 3 players, you need to complete, it keeps going up. So that's the other spoiler, is that I'm not going to show you how that happens, but this is a totally legitimate possibility, playing 2 factions and completing 8 different. I just rolled a d10 twice and just covered up 2 random things. So to win before time runs out, either wipe Desolation off the map or complete these 8. Any one of us can. Either faction, just you got to get at least 1 star up here completing these 8 goals. And if we do that, we win. So the cool thing is that we get to work cooperatively. So you've got Desolation running around, and it's going to move in a certain way. Once we get to 12, to the 12th round, you're going to roll this die, and you're going to compare that die 4 to this little hex here. So all units, Desolation, are going to go that way. So in this case, you would take all these units and you would just boop and boop. It's just that easy. And if they happen to land and create combat, you gotta resolve it. If they land on an unprotected worker, you know, they can stomp across lakes. They're mad. They're just crazy out there, and nothing stops them. And so they're going to be moving around like that, starting on the 12th round down to 0. You roll that die and see where they move. And the other thing is, and why it's very important that we work cooperatively, is because you can see, I mean, you could get boxed in pretty quick. These guys could just come in. It's very random where they're going, and so we can work cooperatively too. We can share each other's resources. So if Red's just whipping out the metal, and Black's like, I need to build some mechs, Red can give the Black faction what it needs to build its mechs, and that goes with all resources. You can truck around each other's resources. You can land on each other's spaces. You could be like, hey, you know, I'm not gonna send you back crying to your home base. We're just gonna chill together because there's no battle between factions. You're gonna have to probably sometimes share a space so that you can each play cards defensively to stand a chance against Desolation. So you can share spaces. Another important thing is you can use each other's mines. If you get mines built, you can use each other's mines to really move across the board quickly to help each other out. And you're going to need it, because what's going to happen with Desolation is they're going to win if they win 6 fights. Now, if they lose a fight, so the way their strength is represented is, so let's say Red came out here. Red, so combat's going to start just the same way combat would. Red's going to pick a card, play one of its cards. So everything's exposed too. You can see each other's stuff. And so Red's going to pick a card, and it's powered the same way you always would. But then all we know about yellow right now is that its base power is 3. So I put that there, and then you're going to roll this die, and you're going to add it, and that's going to be yellow's power for that fight. So 6. We'd have to beat 6 to win. And if we do, then great. We get to put, you know, a star up on the track there as usual, but yellow ramps up. It draws a random. So a random card. So let's say I'd won this. You'd remove this permanently from the game. So now we're down to 5. But now the base strength of Desolation is 4 + 3 is 7. So this is very random and just keeps going up. And then you keep rolling a die to add to its base strength. So you can imagine once you get down to the last unit and you got like 5 cards here, it's tough. It's really tough to wipe Desolation off the map there. So that's how combat in general is done, and how Desolation moves across the board. And again, you lose if you run out of time, or you lose if Desolation wins 6 fights. And we win if we complete, in this case, 8 goals before time runs out, or we wipe Desolation off the map. Let's see what we think about this one. So that's it. That's the game. And so, you know, it's kind of interesting theme. You got Desolation running around and sort of wreaking havoc across the land, and you can work together to try and shut it down and or complete your goals in time. So it's got a cool timer effect, which is nice. Never been anything like that in Scythe. And as well as playing cooperatively. Nothing like that really either. So those are cool, 2 very cool, interesting feel that Scythe has yet to offer. And the mechanics are very easy to incorporate here with Desolation. You just roll the dice, and I mean, it's pretty straightforward, moving it around, fighting it. It's easy to grasp, so there's not a whole bunch of rules and a whole new mindset you got to learn to try and operate the AI here. The variability is you know, it's just a module among a bunch of modules in Rise of Fenris, and there's no like way to really alter a bunch of stuff here, but you can play this actually with a lot of the other modules to give yourself a better chance. Like trying to wipe Desolation off the board, holy moly. I mean, unless you got lucky and just kept drawing 2s so that its base power stayed low, I don't see how you'd stand a chance. Unless you had just a bunch of factions and you all huddled up defensively and went after. Wow, you know, it's the only, when you're playing like I am, 1 or 2 factions at a time, really your best bet is to go after those, to go after the goals, because trying to get that much strength and power to wipe off all those units, I imagine it could be done, but I've never come close. I've actually never won this. I played maybe 4 times, I think, once solo, and then I was like, you know, this is just trying to complete 5 goals I didn't come close. So I tried with 2 factions. It felt much better. And then you can add modules from Fenris to this to actually make it a little, and I think it'd be better that way too. It'd be more fun just because you get to use those extra modules, but I didn't want to show you any of those, no spoilers, as much as possible. And but you can incorporate a lot of the modules in there, so it can create some variability there in that particular cooperative version. The length of play is pretty quick. I mean, you're timed. You know, you've got it's pretty definite. Of course, the more players you've got, the longer a game's going to take. So when you're playing solo, it whips through. You're just like, you take your turn, and then you move that time tracker down, and Desolation does its thing, and then back and forth, back and forth. So playing one faction, it goes really fast, and but it would go up probably exponentially the more factions you add. There are more players you add, and so from a solo standpoint, this isn't my preferred way of playing Scythe. I like the Automa deck. I like using and flipping those cards over. I like the complexity involved with that, whereas this just feels a little too simplistic, a little too just random. just roll a die, and it just kind of move in 1 of 6 directions, and it just kind of mows over anything that it comes across. It's okay. But I can see it would be I think it'd be a lot more fun with multiplayers, and you get to actually work together, and you guys can share spaces, and you kind of plan out who's going to specialize in what production. That'd be fun to do. So, okay, man, he's going to be pumping out, like I said, like metal so that everybody can just be building mechs. And, you know, I can see how that interaction would be pretty fun. You guys can use each other's mines to move around and share spaces defensively. So that's cool. But again, from a solo standpoint, there's going to be other ways I prefer to play this, I think. And I do like the black and white. You know, there's 2 ways to win, 2 ways to lose. Timer runs out, or you get beat 6 times, or before time runs out, you complete those goals or wipe Desolation off the map. Pretty straightforward. That's it. That's Desolation, a cooperative module, Rise of Fenris in Scythe. And hopefully that didn't spoil anything for you really, other than minor. Thanks for watching. Bye. I'm out.